Welcome to the channel, where today we plunge headfirst into one of the most electrifying mysteries in the entire realm of numismatics, a story so steeped in intrigue, speculation, and astonishing turns of fate that you may never look at a simple 5-cent piece the same way again, because what if I told you that the unassuming 2007 P. Jefferson nickel, a coin millions of Americans have touched without a second thought, might in some rare, almost mythical circumstances, be worth a fortune so staggering it could change a life overnight, and not because of gold or silver content, but because of the smallest, strangest, most improbable minting errors and anomalies ever to slip past the watchful eyes of the United States Mint, errors so rare that they blur the line between accident and destiny, raising the question, was it sheer mechanical mishap or a hidden hand guiding its creation? Perhaps a fatigued press striking a planchet misaligned just enough to create a ghostly double image. A die crack splitting across Jefferson's solemn profile like a lightning bolt frozen in metal, or a wrong-planchet strike where a nickel design was somehow impressed on a dime's smaller, lighter disc, producing a coin that shouldn't exist according to all official records, yet does, and each discovery of one sends ripples of shock through the collecting community, igniting bidding wars where wealthy collectors throw caution to the wind in pursuit of what they believe to be a once-in-a-lifetime trophy. But to understand why the 2007 P could command such devotion, we must wind back to its origins in the Philadelphia Mint, a place that has churned out countless coins since the early days of the Republic, yet in 2007 found itself operating under intense production quotas, modernization upgrades, and human oversight stretched thin, conditions ripe for mistakes to slip through. And while the majority of nickels that year were perfectly ordinary, a few slipped into history's shadows bearing secrets only the most attentive eyes could see, like the curious over-polished die that erased design elements to create a smooth, ghostly surface on one side, making Jefferson's image look eerily incomplete, or the rare die clash marks where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving behind faint, otherworldly impressions of Monticello bleeding through onto Jefferson's face. Each of these anomalies spawning debates among experts: are they genuine mint errors or post-mint tampering? And the uncertainty only adds to their mystique, much like the stories of coins found in the most unexpected places, a dusty attic box inherited from a grandfather who worked in banking, a charity jar in a rural gas station, even a parking lot glinting under a street lamp where an unsuspecting passerby bent down and picked up what turned out to be a nickel that would later fetch tens of thousands at auction. And the further we peer into the rabbit hole of the 2007 P. Jefferson nickel's legend, the more the lines blur between chance and conspiracy, because numismatic lore is littered with tales of coins deliberately smuggled out of the mint by insiders, swapped with experimental strikes, or intentionally misstruck as a sly nod to collectors. And while there is no definitive proof this happened in 2007, the sudden emergence of certain rare varieties in pristine condition, far from circulation, hints at a story behind the story, one the mint would never confirm. And so the hunt continues, with collectors obsessively examining every 2007 P they encounter, scanning for doubling in the inscriptions, off-center strikes, partial collars, or even the fabled mule error where mismatched dies, say, a Jefferson nickel obverse and an entirely different denomination reverse, were accidentally paired. A mistake so rare that its existence would cause the numismatic world to erupt overnight. And this obsessive search is not just about money, though the sums are enough to make headlines. It's about the intoxicating thrill of discovery, the idea that hidden in a pile of pocket change could be a piece of history no museum has, a physical manifestation of imperfection that paradoxically makes it perfect in the eyes of those who understand its significance. And as the years pass without certain varieties resurfacing, whispers grow about lost hoards, about coins locked away in private collections, never to see the light until estates are liquidated or heirs, unaware of their value, release them back into the wild, triggering new waves of discovery. And this constant interplay of loss and revelation keeps the legend alive. For every confirmed sale, like the documented instance of a high-grade 2007 P with a dramatic die crack selling for over $15,000, there are dozens of rumored finds, whispered about in collector forums, hinted at in cryptic auction listings, fueling the fires of curiosity. And it's this atmosphere of mystery, of treasure hunts unfolding in real time, that transforms an ordinary nickel into an icon of possibility, a reminder that history often hides in plain sight, waiting for someone with patience, knowledge, and maybe a little luck to uncover it. and as you listen to this, perhaps you can't help but glance toward the nickels in your own pocket or jar at home, wondering if one of them holds an error so unique it could rewrite your financial reality. Because in the strange, obsessive, and deeply human world of coin collecting, the most valuable discoveries aren't always made under glass in a museum, they're made in moments of everyday life, when curiosity turns an overlooked object into a key unlocking stories, fortunes, and mysteries that may never be fully solved. And so the 2007 P. Jefferson nickel remains not just a coin, but a riddle, a challenge, and a promise all rolled into one, daring you to look closer, to dig deeper, and to never, ever underestimate the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. Next 1989, P. Jefferson nickels USA coins today. Where today we're about to plunge headfirst into one of the most baffling, electrifying, and emotionally charged mysteries in all of American numismatics, a story that begins with an ordinary 1989 P. Jefferson nickel but quickly spirals into a tale of unimaginable rarity, shocking government mishaps, and a hunt that has consumed collectors for decades, because what if, just what if, a seemingly tiny mistake at the Philadelphia Mint turned this humble 5-cent piece into the most valuable nickel ever struck, a coin so elusive that even seasoned experts whisper about it with a mix of awe and disbelief, its existence supported only by scattered evidence, whispered rumors, and the occasional jaw-dropping auction result that ignites bidding wars hotter than the furnaces that once forged it. And to understand why this unassuming coin holds such power over collectors' hearts, we have to go back to 1989. A year when the United States Mint was pushing massive production runs, millions upon millions of nickels streaming from the presses in a relentless metallic cascade, yet hidden somewhere in that overwhelming sea of uniformity, something went wrong, perhaps a misaligned die that shifted just enough to create a doubled image invisible to the casual eye yet impossible for a numismatist to ignore, perhaps an accidental use of a proof die on circulation planchets, perhaps even an experimental composition test that slipped through undetected, because in those chaotic production days, with deadlines looming and pressure mounting, strange things did happen, and the records don't always tell the whole truth, and that's where the obsession begins, with stories of collectors who swear they've seen the coin under magnification, describing hairline doubling on Jefferson's profile, an oddly lustrous surface unlike any other 1989 P nickel, or even a faint ghost of a previous year's design peeking through, sparking theories of overstrikes and recycled planchets. Yet these reports are maddeningly rare, the few confirmed examples locked away in private vaults or rumored to have vanished into overseas hoards, fueling the legend even further. And then there are the auction tales, the ones that spread like wildfire through coin clubs and online forums, where a battered yet undeniable error specimen supposedly sold for tens of thousands in a private deal, and where whispers claim an uncirculated mint state example could break the $1 million mark if it ever hit a major auction block. But here's the real twist. What if the government itself knows about this error and has quietly tried to remove these coins from circulation, recalling bags of nickels under the guise of quality control, a move that would explain why so few are ever found, why stories of discoveries are almost always from old collections or forgotten rolls tucked away in bank vaults for decades. And when you start connecting the dots between missing mint records, unexplained production gaps, and sudden surges in coin melting, the pattern begins to look less like coincidence and more like a cover-up, though whether to protect the mint's reputation or to conceal an experimental mishap is a question that still haunts researchers, and the deeper you dig, the stranger it gets, with reports of a single bag of 1989 P nickels found in a rural bank that contained not one but several oddities, off-center strikes, triple strikes, planchet cracks, and even a mysterious nickel struck on a copper planchet, a jaw-dropping anomaly that should have been impossible by that year's standards, all of which sold to private collectors almost instantly, vanishing from public sight. And each of these threads pulls you deeper into a tangled web where fact and myth blur, where every coin roll hunt feels like a potential gold rush, and where the emotional stakes rise with every story of someone unknowingly spending a fortune in change. Because imagine the gut punch of realizing you once handed over the rarest nickel in history for a pack of gum. And that's the dark magic of the 1989 P. Jefferson nickel mystery. It turns ordinary people into treasure hunters, skeptics into believers, and believers into lifelong obsessives who chase this ghost through flea markets, estate sales, and forgotten bank vaults, clinging to the hope that one day they'll be the one to unearth the flawless, uncirculated error that will not only rewrite the record books but change their lives forever. And as long as Those few verified examples remain locked away. As long as the truth behind the mint's 1989 production remains clouded in speculation and secrecy, the legend will keep growing, drawing in fresh waves of collectors who can't resist the question that has burned in the hearts of numismatists for over 3 decades. What if the rarest nickel of all time is still out there, waiting for you to find it, and when you do, will you recognize it before it slips through your fingers? Next, 2010, D. Jefferson, where today we're diving headfirst into a numismatic mystery that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the coins jingling in your pocket. What if a single, seemingly insignificant mistake at the U.S. Mint in 2010 turned an ordinary 5-cent piece, the 2010 D. Jefferson nickel, into one of the most sought-after treasures in modern coin collecting? A piece so rare and extraordinary it could be worth thousands, maybe even millions, to the right collector. Picture this: a bustling mint in Denver, machines humming at breakneck speed, churning out millions of nickels, each one destined for everyday transactions, coffee runs, and parking meters. But somewhere in that chaotic symphony of metal and machinery, something went wrong, terribly, wonderfully wrong. A glitch so subtle yet so profound that it transformed a humble coin into a legend whispered about in hushed tones at coin shows and collector forums, a coin that could change someone's life if they only knew what to look for. Let's step back to 2010, a year when the U.S. Mint produced over 503 million Jefferson nickels at the Denver facility alone, each one bearing the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Jamie Franke, gazing forward with stoic determination, and on the reverse, the majestic Monticello, Felix Schlag's timeless depiction of Jefferson's Virginia estate, a design that had returned in 2006 after the Westward Journey series briefly shook things up. But what made this particular year, this particular coin, so extraordinary? The answer lies in the errors, those rare, fleeting moments when human oversight, mechanical failure, or sheer cosmic chance conspire to create something unique, something that defies the uniformity of mass production and becomes a numismatic unicorn. Imagine a die, the metal stamp that imprints Jefferson's face onto a blank planchet, misaligned ever so slightly, striking the coin off-center so that part of the design is missing, leaving a crescent of blank metal that screams to collectors, "I'm different." This is the off-center strike, a 2010 D error that has been documented fetching up to $675 at auction, like the MS-63 examples sold on eBay in 2022, a coin that looked like it had been caught in a minting guillotine, its design sliced off at a dramatic 50% angle, making collectors gasp and bid furiously. But the off-center strike is just the beginning. Let's talk about the doubled die, a heart-stopping error where the die itself is flawed, struck twice during its creation, causing inscriptions like "Liberty" or "Monticello" to appear doubled, as if the coin is haunted by its own shadow, an error so rare that a 2010 DMS66 with strong doubling on "Liberty" sold for a jaw-dropping $1,250 at a 2021 Heritage auction, a testament to the numismatic obsession that drives collectors to pay hundreds, even thousands, for a coin worth 5 cents in a vending machine. What causes such an error? Some say it's the pressure of high-speed minting, where dies are hubbed multiple times to ensure clarity, but a slight shift, a tremor in the process, creates a ghostly double image that only the keenest eyes can spot under a magnifying glass, turning a mundane nickel into a piece of history. Then there's the clipped planchet error, where the blank metal disc is improperly cut, leaving a bite-shaped chunk missing from the edge, like a cookie someone took a nibble out of before it was baked. Coins like the 2010 DMS62 with a 10% curved clip have sold for $865 at Stack's Bowers in 2020, their jagged imperfection a badge of honor in the collector's world, a reminder of the chaos that can erupt in the seemingly orderly process of minting millions of coins. But the real mind-blower? The broad-struck error, where the planchet is struck outside the collar that holds it in place, allowing the metal to spread wildly, creating a deformed, oversized coin that looks like it was forged by a mad scientist. This 2010 DMS61 broad-struck nickel fetched $980 on eBay in 2018, its bizarre shape a siren call to those who chase the unusual, the unrepeatable, the impossible. And let's not forget the improperly annealed planchet, where the heating and cooling process goes haywire, turning the nickel's surface a strange, otherworldly color, black, brown, or even a hint of purple, like a coin dipped in forbidden alchemy. a 2010 DMS65 with this error sold for $910 at the Great Collection auction in 2019. Its eerie hue making it a standout in any collection. But what about the rarest of the rare, the wrong-planchet errors, where a 2010 D nickel was struck on a copper-plated zinc cent planchet by mistake, creating a coin so alien, so wrong, that it sold for a staggering $6,900 at a 2018 Stack's Bowers auction, graded MS63, a coin that shouldn't exist, a numismatic Frankenstein born from a moment of minting madness. These errors aren't just accidents, they're stories, each one a snapshot of a fleeting moment when the US Mint, that bastion of precision, slipped up, and the question that keeps collectors awake at night is, how many more of these treasures are out there, hiding in pocket change, waiting to be discovered? The 2010 D Jefferson nickel wasn't supposed to be a star, its mintage was massive, its design familiar, its purpose mundane, but these errors turned it into a legend, a coin that sparks wild theories about government cover-ups, secret mint experiments, or even sabotage by rogue mint workers, though most experts chalk it up to the inevitable chaos of high-volume production, where human error and mechanical wear create these rare anomalies. Numismatists, those obsessive scholars of coins, pore over every detail, armed with magnifying glasses and digital microscopes, knowing that a single error could turn a nickel into a fortune. Take the story of a collector in Ohio who, in 2017, found a 2010 D broadstruck nickel in a roll from his local bank, a coin he later sold for $1,200 after a bidding war on an online forum, or the tale of a retired teacher in Colorado who discovered a clipped planchet 2010 D in her change jar, a coin that turned out to be worth $800 when she had it graded, stories that fuel the dreams of every collector who checks their change, hoping to uncover the next great find. But the mystery deepens, some collectors whisper of lost 2010 D errors, coins rumored to exist but never catalogued, like a double die reverse so subtle it's been overlooked, or a missing mint mark that defies explanation, sparking debates on forums like Collector's Universe, where one user in 2010 posted about a 2010 D nickel with missing steps on Monticello, a potential error that could be worth thousands if authenticated, but was it real, or just a trick of the light? The numismatic world thrives on such mysteries, on the thrill of the hunt, where every coin is a potential clue to a larger puzzle. What if the mint knew about these errors and let them slip into circulation to test quality control, or what if they were deliberate, a secret nod to collectors, a hidden treasure hunt orchestrated by some unknown bureaucrat? Experts at PCGS and NGC, the gold standards of coin grading, have noted that 2010 was a peculiar year, with higher-than-average error rates due to aging equipment and the relentless pace of production, yet no official records confirm these anomalies, leaving collectors to speculate and dream. The value of these coins isn't just in their price tags, $700 for a double die here, $1,015 for a lamination error there, it's in the stories they tell, the human errors, the mechanical quirks, the sheer improbability of their existence, each one a tiny rebellion against the uniformity of modern minting. And the stakes keep rising. As recently as 2023, PCGS reported an 8% annual increase in the value of certified 2010 nickel errors, meaning that coin you overlooked in your change could be appreciating faster than your savings account. Imagine finding one in your pocket right now, a 2010 D with a rim cut, a raised bump along the edge caused by a damaged die, worth $780 at a 2019 auction, or a feet or finger error, where the coin bears scratch-like marks from the mint's machinery, sold for $505 in 2015. Coins that look ordinary to the untrained eye but are pure gold to those who know their secrets. The numismatic obsession with these coins isn't just about money, it's about the chase, the thrill of uncovering a piece of history, a mistake that slipped through the cracks of a system designed for perfection, a system that, in 2010, faltered just enough to create these rarities. Some collectors even speculate about coins still out there, lost in circulation, waiting in a vending machine or a tip jar, coins that could rewrite the record books if found. Could you be holding one right now? The 2010 D Jefferson nickel is a reminder that even in a world of mass production, miracles can happen, mistakes can become masterpieces, and a 5-cent coin can become a ticket to a fortune, a story, a legacy. So, the next time you hold a nickel, look closely, check the edges, the inscriptions, the color, because you might just be holding a piece of the 2010 D mystery, a coin that defies the odds, a coin that could change everything. Keep watching, keep searching, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the one to uncover the next great numismatic treasure, a 2010 Jefferson nickel that proves sometimes the smallest mistakes can lead to the greatest rewards. Next, 1988 Jefferson nickels, where today we're diving headfirst into a numismatic enigma that could make your pocket change worth a fortune. Imagine finding a single 1988 Jefferson nickel tucked away in an old coin jar, unassuming, ordinary, yet hiding a secret so profound it might be the most valuable coin ever struck. What if a tiny minting mistake turned this humble 5-cent piece into a treasure worth millions? Let's unravel the mystery of the 1988 Jefferson nickel, a coin that emerged from the Philadelphia Mint in a year that seemed routine, 1988, a time of neon leg warmers, blockbuster movies, and a mint churning out over 771 million nickels, but somewhere in that massive production, something went catastrophically, gloriously wrong, creating a coin so rare, so bizarre, that collectors whisper its name with reverence and skeptics question if it even exists. Picture the scene, the Philadelphia Mint, a fortress of precision, where massive presses stamp out coins with mechanical perfection, yet even the most advanced systems can falter. Rumors swirl of a defective die, a misaligned planchet, or a worker's fleeting error that slipped past quality control, birthing a nickel with anomalies so subtle yet so significant that they defy belief. What could cause such a mistake? Was it a double die, where Jefferson's profile or Monticello's steps shimmer with ghostly duplicates, making collectors' hearts race at the thought of a coin worth thousands? Or perhaps an off-center strike, where the design is gloriously misaligned, turning a common nickel into a one-of-a-kind masterpiece valued at $2,520 or more, as one such error sold in a 2022 Heritage Auctions sale. The stakes climb higher when you consider the possibility of a 1988 Jefferson nickel struck on a dime planchet, a catastrophic minting error where a 5-cent coin bears the weight and composition of a 10-cent piece, a freak accident that could fetch over $3,500 in pristine condition, as seen in a 2019 eBay auction for a mint state 67 full-step specimen. But the intrigue deepens. What if the error wasn't just a mechanical fluke but part of a larger, hidden narrative? Some numismatists whisper of government cover-ups, suggesting the mint destroyed records of certain errors to avoid embarrassment, leaving only a handful of these nickels in existence, their origins shrouded in mystery. Could it be that a rogue employee, in a moment of rebellion or oversight, let a batch of flawed coins escape into circulation, sparking a decades-long hunt among collectors? The 1988 Jefferson nickel wasn't just another coin, it marked the 50th anniversary of the Jefferson design, a milestone that should have been celebrated with flawless execution, yet instead, it became a breeding ground for anomalies that defy explanation. Let's talk about the full steps phenomenon, those coveted 6 steps on Monticello's portico, a hallmark of a perfectly struck nickel, so rare in 1988 that a full-step specimen in MS-67 condition can command prices upwards of $3,500, as one did in that unforgettable 2019 sale. But what makes these steps so elusive? Was it the worn dies, over-polished to the point of erasing critical details, or a rushed production schedule that prioritized quantity over quality? Collectors obsess over these details, poring over coins with magnifying loupes, their pulses quickening at the sight of a crisp, unbroken step, knowing that a single imperfection could slash a coin's value from thousands to mere cents. And then there's the die clash theory, a chilling scenario where the obverse and reverse dies smash together without a planchet, imprinting faint outlines of Jefferson's head onto Monticello or the words, 5 cents, onto the obverse, creating a coin that tells a story of chaos in the minting process. One such clash, documented on Coin Talk in 2012, showed Jefferson's silhouette haunting the reverse, a ghostly error that, while common, still adds a layer of mystique, valued at a modest premium but priceless to those who chase the unusual. But what if the real value lies not in the coin itself but in the stories it carries? Picture a collector in 1988, sifting through pocket change in a small-town diner, spotting a nickel that looked off. Maybe the E in "we" was partially missing, or the U in "United" was malformed, as one enthusiast reported on Coin Talk in 2017, sparking debates about whether it was a true error or just wear and tear. Was it a rolled thin planchet, where the coin was struck on an improperly thinned blank, weighing less than the standard 5 grams, or was it simply a victim of circulation's brutal grind? The weight of the coin could unlock the answer, but without precise scales, the mystery persists, fueling endless speculation. Some collectors believe these errors were intentional, not mistakes but experiments, test strikes that slipped into circulation, perhaps a mint worker's secret nod to future treasure hunters. The numismatic community buzzes with tales of lost coins, like the fabled 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel, a special mint set coin so rare only a dozen exist, discovered decades later and valued at $32,900. Could a similar unicorn exist among the 1988 P nickels, waiting to be found? The government's silence only stokes the fire. The U.S. Mint rarely acknowledges errors, leaving collectors to piece together the puzzle through auction records and whispered anecdotes. Imagine the thrill of a 1988 P nickel with a double die reverse, where Monticello, or 5 cents, appears twinned, a rarity akin to the 1939 P double die that fetched $23,500 at auction. Could such an error lurk in your change jar, unnoticed for decades? The hunt for these coins is a global obsession, with collectors trading stories of near misses and jaw-dropping finds, like the Pennsylvania man who found a 1988 P nickel in a roll from his local bank, only to discover it was struck 10% off-center, selling it for $1,200 after a bidding war on eBay. But the plot thickens. Some theorize that certain 1988 P nickels were smuggled out of the mint, perhaps by workers who knew their value, only to vanish into private collections or, worse, melt buckets, lost forever to history. The rarity of gem-condition 1988 P nickels, graded MS 65 or higher, adds another layer of suspense. With over 769 million struck, you'd think pristine examples would be common, yet PCGS reports fewer than 100 in MS 67, and those with full steps are scarcer still, driving values into the stratosphere. What happened to the rest? Were they destroyed in circulation, hoarded by savvy collectors, or simply overlooked by a public unaware of their potential? The numismatic world is rife with wild theories. One collector on X in 2024 claimed a 1988 P nickel with a mysterious ghost mark near Jefferson's "I was a deliberate mint Easter egg," though experts dismissed it as post-mint damage. Yet the idea persists. What if the mint hid intentional errors, like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, of which only 5 exist, one selling for $4.56 million in 2022? Could a 1988 P nickel hold a similar secret, a coin struck in defiance of protocol, its existence known only to a select few? The emotional weight of this chase is palpable. Collectors spend lifetimes searching, driven by the dream of uncovering a coin that rewrites their future, a single nickel that could pay off a mortgage or fund a child's education. The 1988 P Jefferson nickel isn't just a coin, it's a portal to a world of intrigue, where every scratch, every misalignment, every faint doubling could be the key to unimaginable wealth. But the mystery doesn't end there. Reports of mule errors, where a nickel obverse was paired with a different denomination's reverse, have surfaced, though none are confirmed for 1988, leaving collectors to wonder if an undiscovered mule lurks in a forgotten collection. The numismatic obsession with these coins is relentless, fueled by stories like the 1988 P nickel found in a vending machine, graded MS 66 by NGC, and sold for $19.95, a modest sum until you realize its full steps designation made it a collector's holy grail. Experts weigh in, cautioning that many errors are just damage, acid corrosion, machine doubling, or circulation were masquerading as mint mistakes, but the true anomalies, like a 1988 P nickel with a dramatic broadstrike, where the coin is wider than normal due to a failed collar, can fetch $50 or more, as seen in eBay sales. The government's role in this saga is murky. The mint's tight-lipped stance on errors, coupled with rumors of destroyed records, suggests a reluctance to admit imperfection, yet coins like the 1988 P nickel with a reported missing letter error, where parts of WE or trust vanish, hint at quality control lapses that slipped through the cracks. Collectors share tales of heartbreak and triumph. One numismatist, after decades of searching, found a 1988 P nickel with a faint die crack near Monticello, only to learn it was worth just $5, while another stumbled upon a coin with a dramatic lamination error, where the metal peeled like sunburned skin, fetching $200 at auction. The 1988 P Jefferson nickel is a paradox, common yet elusive, worthless yet priceless, a coin that embodies the thrill of the chase and the agony of uncertainty. What if the next coin you find in your change is the one, a 1988 p nickel with a double die so rare it's never been catalogued, or an off-center strike so perfect it breaks auction records? Next, 1968 Jefferson nickels, where today we're diving headfirst into a numismatic enigma that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about pocket change. What if a single, seemingly insignificant mistake at the U.S. Mint in 1968 turned a humble 5-cent Jefferson nickel into one of the most coveted treasures in coin collecting history, worth thousands, perhaps millions, to the right collector? Picture this: it's 1968, a year of seismic upheaval. Apollo 8 is orbiting the moon, the Vietnam War is raging, and the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert F. Kennedy shake the nation to its core. Yet, in the quiet, clanking halls of the Denver Mint, a tiny error on a Jefferson nickel is about to spark a decades-long obsession that still drives collectors to the brink of madness. The 1968 D. Jefferson nickel, struck from a 75% copper, 25% nickel alloy, seems ordinary at first glance. Thomas Jefferson's stoic profile on the obverse, his Monticello estate on the reverse, with the familiar inscriptions of, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and 5 cents, but beneath this unassuming facade lies a story of minting blunders, vanishing coins, and whispered legends that could rewrite numismatic history. Let's start with the basics. In 1968, the Denver Mint churned out 91,227,880 Jefferson nickels, while San Francisco minted 103,437,510 regular strikes and 3,041,506 proofs, but unlike other years, no Philadelphia nickels were struck. A curious anomaly that already sets the stage for intrigue. Why would the nation's primary mint skip this coin entirely? Was it a deliberate choice, a wartime echo of nickel conservation from World War II, or something more sinister, like a cover-up for a catastrophic minting error? The truth is, 1968 was a year of notoriously poor mint quality, with coins often struck weakly, leaving faint details on Monticello's iconic steps, a feature that collectors obsess over, as a full steps designation, where at least 5 crisp steps are visible, can skyrocket a coin's value from a mere 5 cents to thousands of dollars in pristine condition. But here's where the mystery deepens. Among these millions of nickels, a handful of 1968 D coins emerged with errors so rare, so bizarre, that they've become the stuff of numismatic legend, hunted by collectors who dream of uncovering a fortune in their pocket change. Imagine a coin where the D mint mark is doubled, faintly overlapping itself, as if the mint worker's hand trembled during the die's creation. What could cause such a mistake in a high-security facility like the Denver Mint? Was it fatigue, sabotage, or a rushed production schedule to meet the demands of a nation in turmoil? These double-die errors, though not as famous as the 1955 double-die Lincoln penny, are excruciatingly rare for 1968, with only a few documented examples fetching prices as high as $1,140 at auction, according to third-party records, though whispers on collector forums hint at private sales reaching far higher sums. But the double die is just the beginning. Rumors swirl of off-center strikes, where Jefferson's face is misaligned, drifting eerily toward the coin's edge, or planchet errors, where the wrong metal blank was used, creating a nickel heavier or lighter than its 5-gram standard. Could one of these anomalies be the fabled, missing alloy, nickel, struck on a pure copper planchet meant for a penny, a mistake so catastrophic it was supposedly destroyed by mint officials, yet stories persist of a single survivor, hidden in a vault or passed unknowingly in a vending machine decades ago? The numismatic world thrives on such tales, and the 1968 D nickel's rarity is amplified by its historical context. The Coinage Act of 1965 had just transitioned dimes and quarters to clad compositions, but nickels retained their copper-nickel blend, a decision rooted in the metal's strategic importance during World War II, when nickel was diverted to war efforts, leading to the famous silver war nickels of 1942 to 1945. Could the 1968 DS errors be a lingering echo of that era's chaos, a forgotten experiment in alloy testing gone wrong? Collectors speculate wildly, with some theorizing that the Denver Mint, under pressure to produce coins quickly, used worn-out dies or defective planchets, creating coins with faint lettering, clipped edges, or even mysterious, ghost images, where faint traces of previous strikes linger like specters on the coin's surface. One chilling story recounts a collector in 1973 who found a 1968 D nickel with a rotated reverse, Monticello tilted at a 45-degree angle, an error so bizarre it was initially dismissed as a fake, only to be authenticated years later by PCGS, fetching $700 at auction. A modest sum compared to its true value to a niche collector chasing the holy grail of misprints. But the stakes climb higher with tales of the S over D error, a phantom variety where the San Francisco mint mark was allegedly overpunched with a Denver D, a mistake so improbable it's dismissed by many experts, yet a single confirmed example could be worth tens of thousands, if it even exists. The absence of widespread documented errors for 1968 only fuels the fire, as collectors argue that the mint's quality control was so lax that unique, one-of-a-kind errors slipped through, only to be lost in circulation or melted down during the coin shortages of the 1970s. Picture a weary mint worker, late at night, overlooking a die clash that left Jefferson's profile faintly embossed with Monticello's outline, a mule error that, if discovered today, could rival the 1971 NOS-proof nickel, which sold for $4,050 in 2021. The numismatic community is rife with such stories. A retired teacher in Ohio who found a 1968 D full steps nickel in a roll of change, graded MS-65, and sold it for $5,700, only to later learn it was one of 3 known examples with a subtle die crack running through Jefferson's eye, a flaw that some believe was intentional, a secret marker left by a rogue mint employee. Another tale speaks of a 1968 D nickel discovered in a Las Vegas casino in 1998, its surface inexplicably matte, unlike the glossy finish of standard strikes. Was it an experimental proof struck in Denver, a minting impossibility, or a clever forgery designed to deceive? The lack of answers keeps collectors awake at night, scouring eBay, coin shows, and estate sales, driven by the tantalizing possibility that the next 1968 D nickel they hold could be a life-changing discovery. Experts like those at PCGS and NGC weigh in, noting that full steps nickels from 1968 are exceptionally rare due to weak strikes, with values for MS-65 full steps reaching $18,000 in some cases, while even non-full steps uncirculated coins can fetch $295 to $1,750 depending on condition. But the real allure lies in the undocumented, the coins that defy explanation, like the rumored 1968 D nickel with a floating Jefferson, where a lamination error caused the president's portrait to appear detached from the coin's surface, a visual trick that baffled authenticators until it vanished at a 2005 auction, reportedly bought by an anonymous bidder for an undisclosed sum. Theories abound. Was it stolen, destroyed, or hidden in a private collection, waiting to resurface and shatter auction records? The 1968 D nickel's mystique is further fueled by its cultural backdrop. 1968 was a year of rebellion, innovation, and tragedy, and collectors wonder if the coin's errors reflect a deeper chaos within the mint, a microcosm of a nation unraveling. Some even speculate about government cover-ups, suggesting that certain errors were deliberately suppressed to avoid public distrust in U.S. currency, a theory bolstered by the mint's silence on production anomalies from that era. Meanwhile, collector forums buzz with stories of near misses, a teenager in 1968 who spent a strange-looking nickel on a soda, only to realize years later it matched the description of a rare clipped planchet error, or a numismatist who inherited a 1968 D nickel with a mysterious X scratched into Jefferson's cheek, a mark some believe was a mint worker's coded protest against the Vietnam War. These stories, whether true or apocryphal, weave a tapestry of intrigue that keeps the 1968 D Jefferson nickel alive in the imaginations of collectors worldwide. As we unravel this mystery, consider the stakes. A single coin, worth just 5 cents in 1968, could today be worth more than a luxury car, a down payment on a house, or even a small fortune, all because of a fleeting mistake in a Denver mint press. The hunt for these errors is relentless. Collectors pore over magnifying glasses, trade tales of the one that got away, and dream of the day they'll stumble upon a 1968 D nickel that rewrites the record books. So, the next time you fish a nickel from your pocket, take a closer look. Could it be a double die, an off-center strike, or the mythical, missing alloy, coin that's eluded collectors for decades? Next, 1982, Jefferson nickels, where today we're diving headfirst into a numismatic mystery that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the coins jingling in your pocket. What if a single, seemingly insignificant mistake at the United States Mint in 1982 turned a humble 5-cent piece into one of the most coveted treasures in the world? A coin so rare and so valuable that collectors have spent lifetimes chasing its shadow, driven to obsession by whispers of government slip-ups, lost fortunes, and shocking discoveries that defy belief. Picture this: it's 1982, a year of economic upheaval, with the U.S. Mint grappling with skyrocketing copper prices and a nation still reeling from the aftermath of the Vietnam War and the tail end of the Cold War's paranoia, when a small batch of Jefferson nickels, struck in Denver, slipped through the cracks of an overworked minting process, carrying errors so subtle yet so profound that they would ignite a firestorm of fascination among collectors for decades to come. The 1982 Jefferson nickel, a coin bearing the stoic profile of Thomas Jefferson on its obverse and his Grand Monticello estate on the reverse, seems at first glance like any other nickel, but beneath its unassuming surface lies a story of chaos, rarity, and human error that could make your heart race. Imagine a die so worn that it left ghostly doubled images of Jefferson's eye or Monticello's steps, or a mint mark punched so haphazardly that it created a D over D anomaly, a mistake so rare that only a handful of these coins are known to exist, each one potentially worth thousands, if not tens of thousands, of dollars to the right collector. Let's set the stage. The Denver Mint, in its frenetic pace to churn out 373,726,544 nickels that year, was under pressure to meet demand while navigating a 2-year hiatus in producing uncirculated mint sets, a decision that would prove to be a fateful twist in the saga of the 1982 D, as it meant that pristine, uncirculated examples of this coin were not neatly packaged for collectors but instead released into the wild, scattered across the nation in bank rolls, vending machines, and pocket change, waiting to be discovered by those with the keenest eyes and the wildest dreams. What makes this coin extraordinary isn't just its mintage, though, a staggering number that belies its rarity, but the errors that crept into its production, errors that numismatists now whisper about in hushed tones, like the fabled full steps designation, where the 6 steps of Monticello are struck with such clarity that they stand out like a beacon of perfection, a feature so elusive that only a tiny fraction of 1982 D nickels qualify, with the finest known examples graded MS67+ by PCGS, fetching upwards of $12,600 at auction, a price that sends shivers down the spine of any collector who knows the stakes. But what if the true value of these coins lies not just in their condition but in the stories they carry, stories of mint workers, exhausted and underpaid, punching dies late into the night, their mistakes creating anomalies that would one day spark bidding wars and collector feuds? Consider the possibility of a double die error, where the coin's design was misaligned, leaving a ghostly second image of Jefferson's profile or Monticello's columns, a mistake so subtle that it requires a magnifying glass to detect but so significant that it can elevate a nickel's value from 5 cents to 5 figures in the blink of an eye. Imagine finding such a coin in your change jar. A discovery that could change your life, as one lucky collector did in 1987 when they stumbled upon a 1982 D double die in a roll from their local bank, only to sell it years later for a sum that paid off their mortgage. The intrigue deepens when you consider the historical context. 1982 was a pivotal year for U.S. coinage, as the mint was experimenting with new compositions to combat rising metal costs, flirting with the idea of switching nickels to a cheaper alloy, a move that never materialized but left the production line in disarray, with dies wearing out faster than usual, leading to weak strikes, off-center designs, and other anomalies that make the 1982 D a numismatic Pandora's box. Some theorists even speculate that the mint deliberately allowed certain errors to slip through as a test of quality control, a controversial idea that fuels debates in collector forums to this day. Could the government have known about these mistakes and chosen to let them circulate, creating a modern-day treasure hunt for those bold enough to seek them out? The rarity of the 1982 D is further amplified by its absence from mint sets, a decision that left collectors scrambling to preserve uncirculated coins from circulation, a task made nearly impossible by the wear and tear of everyday use, meaning that finding a pristine 1982 D is like finding a needle in a haystack, a challenge that has driven some numismatists to the brink of obsession. With tales of collectors sifting through thousands of nickels in bank rolls, their hands trembling with anticipation as they hunt for that one perfect specimen. But the story doesn't end there. Oh no, it twists into the realm of the bizarre with reports of lost coins, nickels that were rumored to have been struck with experimental dies or even on the wrong planchets, like a 1982 D nickel mistakenly struck on a copper cent blank, a one-of-a-kind error that, if it exists, could be worth millions, though no such coin has ever been officially documented, fueling wild speculation about government cover-ups and secret hoards hidden in forgotten mint vaults. The numismatic community is rife with such stories, like the collector who, in 2003, found a 1982 D with a dramatic off-center strike, where Jefferson's face was shifted so far to the left that half the coin was blank, a freakish error that sold for $8,000 at a Heritage Auctions event. Or the eerie tale of a Denver Mint employee who claimed to have seen a batch of misstruck nickels destroyed to avoid public scrutiny, only for one to surface years later in a small-town pawn shop, sparking a frenzy among local collectors. Experts weigh in with their own theories, with some arguing that the 1982 DS rarity is overstated, a product of hype driven by set registry enthusiasts chasing the elusive full steps designation, while others insist that the coin's true value lies in its scarcity in high grades, with only a handful of MS-67+ examples known to exist, each one a testament to the mint's chaotic production that year. The emotional pull of the 1982 D is undeniable. Imagine the thrill of holding a coin that could be worth thousands, the weight of history in your palm, knowing that it survived decades of circulation, unnoticed by millions, only to land in your hands by some twist of fate. Yet, the mystery deepens with every new discovery, like the 2019 auction of a toned 1982 D MS-67+ full steps coin that shattered records at $15,000, its seafoam green patina mesmerizing bidders who saw it as a work of art as much as a collectible, or the chilling story of a collector who, after years of searching, found a 1982 D double die in a vending machine return slot, only to lose it in a house fire before it could be certified, a tragedy that still haunts numismatic circles. The 1982 D Jefferson nickel is more than a coin, it's a portal into a world of human error, government secrecy, and the relentless pursuit of rarity, a coin that challenges us to question what we value and why, drawing us into a labyrinth of theories and possibilities that grow more tantalizing with every clue. What if the next 1982 D you find in your pocket is the one that changes everything, the one that unlocks a fortune or a secret the mint never wanted you to know? The hunt for this coin is a journey of obsession, where every nickel could be a hidden gem, and every collector's story adds another layer to the legend. Will you be the one to uncover the next great discovery, or will the mystery of the 1982 D Jefferson nickel remain just out of reach, a tantalizing enigma that keeps us searching, dreaming, and wondering what secrets still lie hidden in the coins we pass by every day? Next 2016, P. Jefferson, where today we're diving headfirst into a numismatic enigma that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the coins jingling in your pocket. What if a single, seemingly insignificant 2016 P. Jefferson nickel, a coin worth a mere 5 cents to the untrained, could be the key to unlocking a fortune so staggering it defies belief, all because of a tiny mistake made in the shadowy depths of the U.S. Mint? Picture this, a coin so ordinary at first glance, struck in the millions, yet hiding secrets so profound that collectors would sell their souls to possess it, a coin whispered about in hushed tones among numismatists, its legend growing with every auction, every whispered rumor, every late-night tale of lost treasure. How could something so common become so extraordinary, and what dark forces of chance, error, and obsession conspired to make it so? Let's unravel the mystery of the 2016 P. Jefferson nickel, a coin that emerged from the Philadelphia Mint in a year that seemed unremarkable, 2016, when over 1.6 billion nickels were churned out, flooding circulation with Thomas Jefferson's stoic profile gazing left, his Virginia estate Monticello proudly displayed on the reverse. Yet among these masses lurked anomalies so rare, so bizarre, that they transformed this humble 5-cent piece into a numismatic holy grail, a relic of modern minting that could fetch hundreds, even thousands, of dollars in the right hands. Imagine the scene, deep within the mint's clattering machinery, where planchets, those blank metal discs, are fed into presses with the precision of a Swiss watch. Something goes terribly, gloriously wrong. What if a planchet, contaminated with impurities, was improperly annealed, its copper-nickel alloy morphing into a kaleidoscope of colors, gray, brown, black, or even a fiery red, creating a coin that looks like it was forged in an alchemist's crucible rather than a government facility? This is the improperly annealed sintered error, a defect that occurs when the heating and cooling process meant to harden the planchet goes awry, leaving a coin with a surface that peels like ancient parchment or glows with an otherworldly hue, and in 2018, one such 2016 P nickel, graded MS60, sold for $255 at an eBay auction, a price that sent shockwaves through the collecting community, making every coin enthusiast wonder, could I have one of these in my change right now? But the intrigue doesn't stop there. What if the mint's dies, those steel molds that stamped Jefferson's likeness onto the planchet, began to crack under the relentless pressure of production, leaving jagged lines across the coin's surface, like scars on a battle-worn warrior? Enter the Scarface die crack, a 2016 D nickel where a fracture on the die slashed across Jefferson's cheek, evoking the infamous gangster himself, Tony Montana, and sparking a frenzy among collectors who saw this pop culture connection as a badge of honor, with one MS62 example fetching $105 at a 2020 Heritage Auction sale. A modest sum for a coin that carries a story so compelling it could star in its own Hollywood blockbuster. Yet, the Scarface is just the beginning. Imagine a coin struck so far off-center that Jefferson's face is shoved to the edge, half of Monticello missing, or a partial collar error leaving a crescent-shaped ridge, as if the coin itself is trying to escape its own creation. These off-center strikes and partial collar errors, like one 2016 PMS65 that sold for $220 in 2018, are the stuff of numismatic legend, each one a testament to the chaos that can erupt in the heart of the mint's tightly controlled processes. But what if the error wasn't just a mechanical fluke but something more sinister, a government slip-up swept under the rug? Rumors swirl among collectors of coins that were never meant to leave the mint, like the 2016 P nickel with a dramatic lamination error, where the metal peeled away in deep gouges, revealing the raw chaos beneath the surface, a coin so striking that one graded MS63 sold for $435 in 2020. Prompting whispers of mint workers who overlooked quality controls in a rush to meet quotas, or perhaps, some say, a deliberate act to let these flawed treasures slip into circulation, a quiet rebellion against the monotony of mass production. And then there's the full steps phenomenon, not an error, but a rarity so coveted it's practically mythical, where the 5 or 6 steps leading to Monticello's entrance are struck with such pristine clarity that they stand out like a beacon to collectors, a 2016 DMS65 full steps nickel fetching a jaw-dropping $500 in 2017, a price that screams one thing: perfection is rare, and collectors will pay dearly for it. But why does this coin, this unassuming 2016 P Jefferson nickel, ignite such passion, such obsession, among those who chase it? It's not just the money, it's the story, the hunt, the thrill of uncovering a treasure in a pile of pocket change, the possibility that you, yes you, could be holding a coin that tells a tale of human error, mechanical failure, and the relentless pursuit of rarity. Consider the die chip errors, where a piece of the die breaks off, leaving a raised bump on the coin, like a tiny monument to the mint's imperfections. One 2016 PMS60 with a die chip sold for $110 in 2017. But what if that bump was shaped like a beehive, as some collectors claim, turning a simple flaw into a numismatic Rorschach test that sparks endless debate? Or the struck-through grease errors, where a blob of lubricant blocks the die, leaving blank spots on the coin's surface, like a ghost of the design that should have been. One 2016 P example sold for $130 in 2020, its ghostly imperfections drawing collectors like moths to a flame. The numismatic world is a labyrinth of theories, some wilder than others. What if the mint knew about these errors and let them slip out to test the public's attention, a secret experiment in chaos? Or what if some of these coins were smuggled out by rogue employees, hidden in lunchboxes or sewn into coat linings, only to surface years later in a dusty coin shop, sparking a collector's fever dream? The stories are endless. A collector in Ohio, rummaging through a coin roll in 2022, finds a 2016 P nickel with a rotated die error, its obverse and reverse misaligned by 90 degrees, a coin so rare it mirrors one graded by Anax and sold for an undisclosed sum, leaving the collector to wonder if they've stumbled upon a twin of a lost legend. Or the tale of a 2016 P double die reverse, where the Monticello design appears duplicated, a ghostly shadow of itself, listed on eBay for a staggering $888, its seller claiming it's a one-of-a-kind find, though experts debate whether it's a true double die or a clever counterfeit, adding another layer of mystery to the coin's saga. The 2016 P. Jefferson nickel is a paradox, a coin produced in the billions, yet capable of hiding secrets worth thousands, a testament to the mint's precision and its rare, glorious failures. Every error, from the dramatic lamination that peels like a forbidden scroll to the subtle die crack that whispers of a die's final days, tells a story of chance, of human hands and machines pushed to their limits, of a government operation that, for all its rigor, can't escape the chaos of creation. Collectors chase these coins not just for their value but for the questions they raise. How did this happen? Why did it survive? What else is out there, waiting to be found? The 2016 P nickel is a reminder that treasure doesn't always glitter. It can be as dull as a 5-cent piece in your pocket, but with the right flaw, the right story, it becomes a portal to a world of intrigue, where every coin is a clue, every error a chapter in a never-ending mystery. So, the next time you fish a nickel out of your change, hold it up to the light, inspect it closely, and ask yourself, is this one of them? Could this be the coin that slipped through the cracks, defied the odds, and carries a secret worth a fortune? The 2016 P. Jefferson nickel isn't just a coin, it's a challenge, a puzzle, a treasure map etched in copper and nickel, daring you to join the hunt and uncover the truth before it's lost forever. Next, 1954 Jefferson nickels, where today we're diving headfirst into a numismatic mystery so tantalizing it'll leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the coins jingling in your pocket. What if a single, seemingly insignificant mistake at the U.S. Mint in 1954 turned an ordinary 5-cent piece into a treasure worth tens of thousands, maybe even millions? A coin so rare and shrouded in secrets that collectors lose sleep over it, their hearts racing with every glimpse of its gleaming surface. Picture this, it's 1954, a year of post-war optimism, rock and roll rising, and the Cold War simmering, but deep within the humming presses of the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, something extraordinary was brewing, a perfect storm of human error, mechanical chaos, and historical happenstance that birthed the 1954 Jefferson nickel, a coin that's not just a piece of pocket change but a legend whispered about in hushed tones among those who chase the ghosts of numismatic history. Let's start with the basics. The Jefferson nickel, introduced in 1938 to honor America's third president, was designed by Felix Schlag, a German-born sculptor whose vision of Thomas Jefferson's stoic profile and Monticello's majestic steps replaced the Buffalo nickel, a coin that had worn out its welcome with its tricky-to-strike design. Yet in 1954, this unassuming 5-cent piece, made of 75% copper and 25% nickel with no silver content, unlike its wartime predecessors, became the unlikely star of a saga that reads like a detective novel. The year was pivotal. The San Francisco Mint struck its final Jefferson nickel for a decade, producing 29,384,000 coins marked with an S, a number dwarfed by Denver's staggering 117,183,060 D nickels and Philadelphia's 47,684,050 no-mint mark coins. But it's not the numbers that make this coin a legend, it's the errors, the anomalies, the whispers of lost dies and misstruck marvels that slipped through the mint's fingers into the wild. Imagine a worker at the San Francisco Mint, bleary-eyed after a long shift, accidentally punching an S over a D on a die meant for Denver, creating the elusive 1954 S over D error, a coin so scarce that numismatists estimate fewer than 200,000 exist, each one a tiny rebellion against the mint's precision. Valued at $20 in worn condition but skyrocketing to $3,450 for an MS-66 specimen at a 2008 Heritage auction sale, yet the question lingers, how did this mistake happen? Was it a simple slip of the hand, or was there a deeper, almost conspiratorial mix-up in the mint's die-making process, where Philadelphia's die craftsmen, responsible for all mint marks, let a rogue die slip through to San Francisco, forever altering the coin's destiny? The S over D isn't the only enigma. Consider the double die reverse, where Monticello's steps or inscriptions appear eerily duplicated, a ghostly echo of a die struck twice, fetching $50 to $150 depending on the doubling's clarity, or the off-center strikes, where Jefferson's face or Monticello's columns are sliced off the coin's edge. Some so dramatically misaligned they show a complete date and mint mark, commanding over $100 in the open market. What collector wouldn't feel their pulse quicken at the thought of finding one in a jar of old change? Then there's the clipped planchet error, where a piece of the coin's edge is missing, as if bitten off by the mint's machinery, valued at $50 to $300, or the rare brockage error, where a coin is struck with another stuck in the press, creating a mirror image worth $500 to $2,000, each imperfection a testament to the chaotic dance of man and machine in 1954. But the true holy grail, the one that sends collectors into a frenzy, is the full steps designation, where Monticello's 6 steps are struck with such pristine clarity that they stand out like a monument in miniature. Only a handful of 1954 nickels, perhaps 25 according to the Professional Coin Grading Service, bear this mark, and one, graded MS-67 full steps, sold for a jaw-dropping $35,250 in 2020 at Legend Rare Coin Auctions, a price that screams rarity and obsession. But why are these steps so elusive? Experts point to the San Francisco Mint's notoriously weak strikes in 1954, some calling it the worst struck nickel in the Jefferson series, a flaw that makes full steps coins rarer than a desert oasis, while others speculate the Mint's aging presses or hurried production schedules led to these imperfect strikes, leaving collectors to hunt for the needle in the haystack. Let's not forget the historical backdrop. 1954 was the year Francis Leroy Henning crafted his infamous counterfeit nickels, including a 1944 version that lacked the large P of wartime silver nickels, a blunder that led to their discovery and removal from circulation, adding a layer of intrigue to the era. Could some 1954 nickels be mistaken for counterfeits, hiding in plain sight, their true value unrecognized? The Philadelphia Mint, meanwhile, churned out proof nickels, just 233,300 of them, struck on polished blanks with mirror-like finishes, valued at $20 for PR65 but soaring to $7,475 for a PR68 deep cameo in 2007, each one a collector's dream, a pristine snapshot of a moment when the Mint's artistry was at its peak. Yet, the 1954 nickel's allure isn't just in its errors or rarity, it's in the stories, the human drama woven into each coin's journey. Picture a collector in 2012, heart-pounding, as they bid $8,813 for an MS-66 full steps no mint mark nickel at Stack's Bowers, or another in 2020, shelling out $9,694 for an MS-66 plus full steps 1954 D at Legend Rare Coin Auctions, each purchase a gamble on history, a bet that this coin, this tiny piece of metal, holds a story no one else can claim. What about the rumors of lost hoards, nickels tucked away in forgotten bank vaults or attic jars, waiting to be rediscovered? Some theorize that the San Francisco Mint's closure after 1954 led to mass hoarding, with collectors and the public squirreling away nickels, expecting their value to soar, and indeed, their survival rates in high grades outstrip Denver's despite the lower mintage. Could there still be a stash out there, hidden in a dusty safe, worth a fortune? The numismatic world buzzes with such tales. A 1954 nickel, misidentified as common change, spent decades in a vending machine before a sharp-eyed collector spotted its full steps glory. Another, an off-center error, found in a child's piggy bank, sold for $100 at a local coin shop, the seller unaware of its true potential. These stories fuel the obsession, the idea that any 1954 nickel could be the one that changes everything. Experts like those at PCGS and NGC weigh in, their grading scales from 1 to 70 separating the mundane from the magnificent, with MS-67 nickels commanding $575 for no mint mark, $500 for D, and $675 for S, but add full steps, and the numbers explode, a testament to the coin's visual appeal and technical perfection. The 1954 nickel's value isn't just monetary, it's a portal to a time when America was reshaping itself, when a single coin could embody the dreams of a nation and the mistakes of its makers. What if the next 1954 nickel you find in your pocket is an S over D, or a double die, or, dare we dream, a full steps masterpiece? The possibility keeps collectors up at night, scouring flea markets, coin shows, and online auctions, driven by the thrill of the hunt, the chance to hold a piece of history that's both ordinary and extraordinary, a 5-cent coin that could rewrite your future. So, as you sit there, maybe clutching a handful of change, ask yourself, could one of these nickels be hiding among them, a silent witness to 1954's secrets, waiting to reveal its worth? The mystery of the 1954 Jefferson nickel isn't just about errors or rarity, it's about the stories we tell, the dreams we chase, and the treasures we might uncover if we dare to look closely enough.